Maya Chen stared at the rejection letter in her hands, the words blurring together as tears threatened to fall. Another scholarship denied. Another door slammed shut. The letterhead of the Galactic Engineering Institute mocked her with its gold embossing and perfect typography. Unable to offer admission due to insufficient financial backing and lack of stellar academic credentials, she read aloud to her empty apartment. The words stung more than they should have. Maya had graduated top of her class from the Lunar Colony's technical school, but, apparently, that meant nothing to the prestigious universities of the inner worlds. Her communicator buzzed with an incoming message. Maya's heart sank when she saw the sender's name, her landlord. 3 months behind on rent, and now the final notice had arrived. She had exactly 30 days to come up with 12,000 credits or find herself homeless on Luna Station. Maya walked to her tiny window and looked out at the sprawling underground city that had been her home for 23 years. The artificial lights twinkled like stars, but they couldn't hide the grime and desperation that clung to the lower levels where she lived. Above her, the wealthy sectors glowed with clean energy and promise. Below, people like her scraped by, fixing the machines that kept the colony running. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her memory. "Someday, child, you'll understand what I've left you. When the time is right, you'll know." Maya had always assumed her grandmother meant the small wooden box hidden under her bed. Inside were old photographs, a few pieces of simple jewelry, and what looked like an ancient data chip that no modern computer could read. Maya pulled the box from its hiding place and held the mysterious chip up to the light. It was unlike anything she'd ever seen before, made from some kind of crystalline material that seemed to pulse with its own inner light. Her grandmother had called it the family treasure, but Maya had always thought it was just sentiment talking. A sharp knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. Maya quickly hid the box and opened the door to find her neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, holding a steaming cup of synthetic coffee. "You look like you need this," the older woman said, pushing past Maya into the small apartment. Mrs. Rodriguez had lived on Luna Station longer than almost anyone, and her weathered face told the story of decades spent in the harsh environment of space. "Thanks," Maya said, accepting the coffee gratefully. "I just got another rejection letter. Sometimes I wonder if I should just give up and accept that this is my life." Mrs. Rodriguez studied her with sharp eyes. "Your grandmother used to say the same thing when she was your age. Always talking about leaving this place, making something better of herself." "But, you know what she told me before she died?" Maya shook her head. "She said the Chen family wasn't meant for small dreams. Said there was something special about your bloodline, something that would reveal itself when the time was right." Mrs. Rodriguez sipped her coffee thoughtfully. "Maybe that time is now." After her neighbor left, Maya found herself staring at the data chip again. On impulse, she decided to take it to her workplace, the Luna Station Engineering Department. If anyone could figure out what was on this ancient piece of technology, it would be the master technician, Dr. Patel. The engineering section hummed with activity as Maya made her way through the maze of machinery and workshops. Dr. Patel looked up from a complex repair job as she approached his workstation. "Maya. Perfect timing. I need someone to recalibrate the atmospheric processors on level 7. Think you can handle it?" "Actually, Dr. Patel, I was hoping you could help me with something first." Maya pulled out the data chip, and Dr. Patel's eyes widened. "Where did you get this?" he asked, taking the chip carefully in his hands. "This is pre-colonial technology. Maybe even pre-space flight. It belonged to my grandmother. She said it was important, but I've never been able to access it." Dr. Patel examined the chip under a magnifying lens, then connected it to several different types of readers. Each attempt failed until he tried an ancient Earth-based system that the station kept for historical research. Suddenly, the chip came to life. Holographic displays filled the air around them, showing star maps, technical schematics, and what appeared to be legal documents written in multiple languages. "This is impossible," Dr. Patel whispered. "These coordinates, they're pointing to a location in the Andromeda Galaxy. But, look at the timestamp on this data." Maya leaned closer to read the date. Her blood turned cold. The files were dated 300 years in the future. There must be some mistake, Maya said, but, even as she spoke, she knew something extraordinary was happening. The holographic display shifted, responding to her voice and presence in ways that seemed almost alive. A new image appeared, a massive space station unlike anything Maya had ever seen. It was beautiful and alien, with organic curves that suggested it had been grown rather than built. Text appeared below the image in multiple languages, but somehow Maya could understand every word. Property deed and inheritance documentation, she read aloud. To be claimed by the rightful heir of the Chun dynasty when technological understanding permits access to this record. Chen dynasty? Dr. Patel looked at Maya with new respect. Your family has a dynasty? Maya shook her head in confusion. We're nobody special. My grandmother worked in the recycling plants. My parents died in a mining accident when I was young. We've always been poor. But the holographic display continued to reveal impossible information. Legal documents showed ownership of entire star systems, mining rights to asteroid belts rich in rare elements, and something called temporal research stations scattered across multiple galaxies. Maya, Dr. Patel said quietly, according to this, your family owns approximately 40% of the known universe. The magnitude of this revelation hit Maya like a physical blow. She sank into a nearby chair, struggling to process what she was seeing. The inheritance documents showed not just property and resources, but also something called guardian rights. Apparently, the Qin family had been designated as protectors of something called the temporal nexus. What's a temporal nexus? Maya asked. Dr. Patel's fingers flew over his research terminal. I'm not finding any reference to that term in our databases. But, look at this. He pointed to another section of the holographic display. It shows a communication network that spans multiple timelines. If this is real, your family doesn't just own property, they own access to time itself. Maya stood up slowly, her mind racing. But, how is any of this possible? These documents are dated in the future, but they talk about my family's past. And if we're so wealthy and powerful, why did I grow up in poverty? The answer came from an unexpected source. The holographic display suddenly shifted, and a new voice filled the room, her grandmother's voice, speaking from a recording that shouldn't exist. My dear Maya, her grandmother's image said, if you're seeing this, it means the time has come for you to learn the truth about our family. We are not from this time period originally. The Chen family are refugees from a future where humanity has spread across the stars and become the dominant force in the galaxy. Maya's legs gave out, and she collapsed back into the chair. Refugees from the future? Her grandmother's image continued, we came back in time to establish the foundation for humanity's expansion into space. Every Qin family member has a role to play in ensuring that humanity rises to become the greatest civilization the universe has ever known. Your role, my dear, is to claim our family's inheritance and begin the next phase of human evolution. Dr. Patel was frantically taking notes, his scientific mind struggling to accept what they were witnessing. Time travel, advanced civilizations, galactic empires, this is beyond anything our current science can explain. But, why now? Maya asked the recording. Why did my grandmother leave me poor and struggling if all of this was waiting for me? As if responding to her question, new text appeared on the display, the inheritance can only be claimed by one who understands hardship and values the worth of all human life. Privilege corrupts. Struggle builds character. You have been tested, and you have passed. Maya felt a strange sensation, as if something was awakening inside her mind. Suddenly, she could understand the alien symbols on the holographic displays without effort. Technical specifications for faster-than-light travel made perfect sense to her, even though she had never studied advanced physics. Dr. Patel, she said, her voice stronger now, I need you to help me understand something. Look at these coordinates. She pointed to a set of numbers that had appeared on the display. They're not just pointing to a location in space, they're pointing to a specific point in time. Dr. Patel studied the coordinates carefully. You're right. But, Maya, the technology to travel through time doesn't exist. Even our most advanced civilizations have only theorized about temporal manipulation. It exists, Maya said with growing certainty. And, according to this, it's been waiting for me. She turned to face her neighbor's friend with new determination. Dr. Patel, I need to ask you something that's going to sound crazy. Do you trust me enough to help me claim what belongs to my family? The older man looked at the impossible holographic displays surrounding them, then, back at Maya. Something in her eyes had changed. Where before there had been doubt and resignation, now there was purpose and strength. What exactly are you planning to do? He asked. Maya studied the inheritance documents more carefully. Among the properties and resources listed was something that made her heart race, a faster-than-light spacecraft capable of temporal navigation, currently hidden in an abandoned mining asteroid near Luna Station. I'm going to go get my inheritance, she said simply. And, then, I'm going to show everyone who laughed at me exactly what a humble inheritance looks like. The holographic display began to fade, but not before one final message appeared, warning. Claiming this inheritance will alert other temporal refugees who have different plans for humanity's future. Some will try to help you. Others will try to stop you. Trust carefully, and remember that the fate of human civilization across multiple timelines now rests in your hands. As the last of the holographic images disappeared, Maya found herself holding not just the original data chip, but also a small device that hadn't been there before, something that looked like a sophisticated communication device mixed with a navigation computer. Maya, Dr. Patel said quietly, I think your life just became very, very complicated. Maya looked out the window at Luna Station's busy corridors, where people went about their daily lives unaware that everything was about to change. Somewhere out there was a ship that belonged to her, and, with it, the power to transform humanity's future among the stars. Complicated, she agreed, but, finally, interesting. The device in her hand began to pulse with a soft light, and Maya realized that her journey was about to begin. The girl who had been rejected by universities and struggled to pay rent was gone. In her place stood the heir to an galactic empire, and she was ready to claim what was rightfully hers. The abandoned mining asteroid designated K7742 looked like nothing special from the outside. Maya floated in the maintenance shuttle she had borrowed from Luna Station, staring at the dark, pitted surface that showed decades of neglect. According to the navigation device her grandmother had left behind, somewhere inside this unremarkable chunk of rock was a spaceship that would change everything. Are you absolutely certain about this? Dr. Patel asked from the pilot's seat. He had insisted on coming with her, partly from scientific curiosity and partly because he was worried about her mental state. We're risking our careers on what could be an elaborate hallucination. Maya held up the navigation device, which was now glowing brighter as they approached the asteroid. The energy readings are getting stronger. There's definitely something artificial inside that rock. They docked with the asteroid's old mining entrance, a rusty airlock that looked like it hadn't been used in 50 years. Maya suited up and followed Dr. Patel through the cramped tunnels that honeycombed the asteroid's interior. Emergency lighting flickered on as they moved deeper into the abandoned facility. According to the device, we need to go to the deepest level, Maya said, consulting the glowing display. Section 7, Mining Chamber Delta. The deeper they went, the more obvious it became that this asteroid held secrets. The mining tunnels were far more sophisticated than anything that would have been needed for simple ore extraction. Power conduits ran along the walls in patterns that suggested advanced energy distribution systems. Maya, Dr. Patel said as they reached a massive blast door marked with symbols that matched those from her grandmother's holographic display, I'm starting to believe your story. Maya placed her hand on a scanner next to the blast door. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the scanner glowed green, and the massive door began to slide open with a deep rumbling sound. Beyond the door was a vast chamber that should not have been able to fit inside the asteroid. Maya and Dr. Patel stepped through and found themselves in what looked like a high-tech hangar bay. In the center of the chamber sat a ship unlike anything either of them had ever seen. The vessel was sleek and organic-looking, about the size of a small transport but clearly built with technology far beyond anything in current use. Its hull seemed to shimmer with its own inner light, and Maya could see no visible seams or joints in its construction. It was beautiful and alien and somehow familiar all at once. "This is impossible," Dr. Patel whispered. "The chamber is bigger than the entire asteroid. And this ship. I've never seen technology like this." Maya approached the ship slowly, the navigation device in her hand now pulsing in rhythm with lights that were beginning to appear on the vessel's hull. As she got closer, a section of the hull simply flowed open, revealing an interior that glowed with soft, welcoming light. "It's responding to me," Maya said with wonder. "It knows I'm here." They climbed aboard, and Maya gasped at what she found inside. The ship's interior was impossibly spacious, with control surfaces that seemed to be made of living crystal. The walls displayed star maps and technical readouts that updated continuously as she watched. Dr. Patel was examining a control panel with wide eyes. "Maya, look at these energy readings. This ship is powered by something that's generating more energy than Luna Station's entire fusion grid. And, according to these displays, it's been sitting here dormant for over a century." Maya approached what looked like the command chair, and, as she did, the entire ship seemed to come alive around her. Lights brightened, control surfaces activated, and a gentle humming filled the air. "Welcome, Maya Chen, heir to the Chen dynasty," a voice said, speaking directly into her mind rather than through any speaker system. "I am the ship intelligence designated Artemis. I have been waiting for you." Maya sat down carefully in the command chair, and immediately felt a connection form between herself and the ship. Information flowed into her mind: star charts, technical specifications, and, most importantly, the location of the nearest Chen family property. "Artemis," Maya said aloud, "show Dr. Patel what we're dealing with." Holographic displays filled the cabin, showing the extent of the Chen family holdings. Dr. Patel's jaw dropped as he saw system after system, each one rich in resources and defended by automated installations that had been waiting dormant for decades. "This is just a small portion of your inheritance," Artemis explained. "The Chen family's true wealth lies not in individual properties, but in the infrastructure we built to support humanity's expansion into the galaxy. Mining operations, research facilities, terraforming equipment, everything needed to turn humanity into a spacefaring civilization." "But why was all this hidden?" Maya asked. "If my family had this kind of power and technology, why did they live in poverty on Luna Station?" "Because," Artemis replied, "the other temporal refugee families disagreed with the Chine vision for humanity's future. While your family believed humans should be guided and supported as they naturally developed, other families believed humanity should be controlled or replaced entirely." Dr. Patel looked up from the technical displays he had been studying. "Replaced? By who?" "By themselves," Maya said, understanding flooding through her as Artemis shared more information. "The other refugee families don't see modern humans as their equals. They see us as primitive ancestors who need to be managed or eliminated." Artemis confirmed her understanding. "The Zhao family believes humanity should be ruled by an elite class of enhanced individuals. The Williams family wants to merge human consciousness with artificial intelligence. The Petrov family thinks current humanity should be replaced entirely by their genetically modified descendants." Maya felt a chill run through her. "And my family?" "Your family believes humans should choose their own path to greatness, with guidance but not control. The Chen dynasty was established to provide resources and opportunities, not to force humanity into a predetermined shape." Dr. Patel was looking at tactical displays that showed the positions of other refugee operations throughout the solar system. "Maya, if these other families are as powerful as you say, and they disagree with your family's philosophy, claiming your inheritance is going to make you a target." "I'm already a target," Maya realized. "The moment I activated the data chip, they would have detected it. That's why the inheritance had to wait until now, until I was ready to defend it." As if responding to her words, Artemis's tactical displays lit up with new information. "Long-range sensors are detecting 3 ships approaching this position. They will arrive in approximately 2 hours." "Who are they?" Maya asked. "Based on their energy signatures, 2 ships belong to the Zhao family and 1 to the Williams family. They are likely coming to either recruit you or eliminate you as a threat to their plans." Dr. Patel looked terrified, but Maya felt something unexpected: excitement. For the first time in her life, she was part of something larger than herself. The struggles and rejections that had defined her existence were simply preparation for this moment. Artemis, what are our capabilities? This ship is equipped with advanced defensive systems, faster than light travel, and temporal shielding. However, engaging in combat would reveal our full capabilities to other refugee families who are currently neutral. It would be better to demonstrate your inheritance in a way that establishes your legitimate claim without starting a temporal war. Maya thought for a moment. What's the closest Chen family property to here? Artemis displayed a star map showing a mining operation in the asteroid belt, about 6 light-years away. Designation: Chen Mining Platform Alpha. It has been dormant for 80 years, but all systems remain functional and waiting for activation by a Chen heir. How long would it take us to get there? 17 minutes at maximum temporal velocity. Dr. Patel nearly fell out of his chair. 17 minutes to travel 6 light-years? That's not possible with any known physics. Dr. Patel, Maya said with growing confidence, I think you're about to learn that there's a lot we don't know about physics. She turned to address Artemis directly. Take us there. It's time I claimed my inheritance properly. The ship began to move smoothly out of the hidden hangar, and Maya watched on the displays as they left the asteroid behind. As soon as they cleared the asteroid's shadow, she could see the 3 approaching ships on long-range sensors. They're trying to hail us, Artemis reported. Audio only. Let's hear what they have to say. A cold, authoritative voice filled the cabin. Unknown vessel, this is Commander Zhao Wei of the Temporal Regulation Authority. You are in possession of stolen Chen Dynasty technology. Surrender immediately and prepare to be boarded. Maya almost laughed. Stolen technology? It's mine by right. Another voice joined the transmission, this one mechanical and somehow unsettling. Maya Chen, this is Director Williams. You have no idea what you're dealing with. The Chen inheritance comes with responsibilities you cannot possibly understand. Allow us to explain the situation before you make any irreversible decisions. Artemis, Maya said quietly, begin temporal transition. Let's show them exactly what I'm capable of understanding. The ship began to accelerate, and Maya felt a strange sensation as they approached light speed. Space around them seemed to bend and flow, and she realized they were moving through dimensions of reality she had never imagined existed. Temporal transition complete, Artemis announced. We are now traveling through folded spacetime. Arrival at Chen Mining Platform Alpha in 15 minutes. Dr. Patel was staring at the displays in amazement. Maya, according to these readings, we're moving faster than light, but we're also somehow moving backward through time. How is this possible? Because, Maya said, understanding flowing through her as Artemis shared more information, time and space aren't fixed the way we thought they were. The Chen family learned how to navigate the currents of causality itself. As they traveled, Artemis provided Maya with more details about her inheritance. The Chen Mining Platform Alpha was just one of hundreds of installations scattered across the galaxy. Each one was designed to operate autonomously until a Chen heir arrived to claim it. But, Maya, Artemis warned, once you activate the mining platform, there will be no hiding your identity from the other refugee families. They will know that the Chen dynasty has returned to active status. Maya looked at Dr. Patel, who was still struggling to process everything he had witnessed. Are you ready to help me change the future of humanity? Dr. Patel took a deep breath. I joined Luna Station's engineering department because I wanted to help humanity reach for the stars. If what you're showing me is real, then you're offering exactly that opportunity. Good, Maya said. Because we're about to announce to the entire galaxy that humanity's protectors are back in business. Chen Mining Platform Alpha appeared on their screens as they dropped out of temporal velocity. It was massive, easily the size of a small moon, and covered with mining equipment and processing facilities that dwarfed anything humanity currently possessed. Artemis, Maya said as they approached the platform, activate all systems and begin full operations. It's time the universe remembered what the Chen family stands for. As they docked with the mining platform, Maya could feel the weight of her new responsibilities settling on her shoulders. The girl who had worried about rent payments was gone forever. In her place stood the heir to a galactic empire, and she was ready to fulfill her destiny. Chen Mining Platform Alpha hummed to life around Maya as she walked through corridors that hadn't seen human presence in over 8 decades. The station was enormous, with processing facilities that could strip mine entire asteroid fields and refineries capable of producing materials that didn't exist in current human technology. Artemis, how much of the Chun family's industrial capacity does this represent? Maya asked as she toured the facility with Dr. Patel. Approximately 0.3%, Artemis replied through the station's communication system. This platform was designed as a basic resource collection point. The primary manufacturing and research facilities are located deeper in unexplored space. Dr. Patel stopped walking and leaned against a wall. 0.3%? Maya, this single platform could supply raw materials for the entire inner worlds for a century. If this is less than 1% of your family's holdings, then humanity's resource problems are solved, Maya finished. She was beginning to understand the scope of her inheritance, and it was both thrilling and terrifying. As they reached the station's command center, Maya placed her hand on the control interface. Immediately, status displays activated throughout the room, showing the location and operational status of mining operations across multiple star systems. All Qin Dynasty assets responding, Artemis reported. 743 mining platforms, 215 research facilities, 58 terraforming operations, and 34 temporal research stations are now online and awaiting instructions. Temporal research stations? Dr. Patel asked. What are those for? Maya consulted the information flowing into her consciousness through her connection with Artemis. They monitor timeline stability. Apparently, when you have multiple families of time travelers operating in the same universe, there's a risk of paradoxes that could unravel reality itself. The tactical displays suddenly lit up with new contacts. The pursuing ships had followed them to the mining platform, and they were not alone. 3 more vessels had appeared on long-range sensors, and their energy signatures were completely different from anything Maya had seen before. Artemis, identify the new contacts. Unknown configuration. Energy patterns suggest technology that is not from any of the refugee families. Recommend raising defensive shields. Maya felt a chill. If these weren't ships from the other temporal refugee families, then who were they? Her question was answered when a new transmission came through the communication system. The voice was human, but spoke with an accent Maya had never heard before. Qin Dynasty Air, this is Fleet Commander Sarah Chun Martinez of the Temporal Defense Corps. We represent the future you're fighting to create. Permission to come aboard? Maya and Dr. Patel exchanged glances. Future we're fighting to create? Artemis, are these ships from our timeline? Negative. Based on their temporal signatures, these vessels originate from approximately 200 years in the future. However, their energy patterns are consistent with advanced Qin Dynasty technology. Maya made a decision that would change everything. Fleet Commander, you have permission to dock. But I want answers. 20 minutes later, Maya found herself facing 3 individuals who looked human but carried themselves with a confidence and poise that spoke of advanced technology and capabilities. Fleet Commander Chen Martinez was tall and athletic, with silver hair that seemed to shimmer with its own inner light. Her 2 companions introduced themselves as Dr. Elena Vasquez, a temporal physicist, and Captain Marcus Johnson, a military strategist. Maya Chen, Fleet Commander Chen Martinez said with a slight bow, "It's an honor to meet the founder of our civilization." Founder? Maya sat down heavily in the command chair. I haven't founded anything. I just learned about my inheritance yesterday. Dr. Vasquez stepped forward with a warm smile. In our timeline, the day you activated Chen Mining Platform Alpha marks the beginning of humanity's true expansion into the galaxy. Your actions over the next few years establish the foundation for a civilization that spans multiple galaxies and protects the temporal integrity of reality itself. Captain Johnson activated a holographic display that showed human colonies spread across the stars. Because of the choices you're about to make, humanity becomes the dominant peaceful force in the known universe. We develop technology that allows us to explore other dimensions, to communicate with alien civilizations, and to protect less advanced species from exploitation. Maya stared at the display in amazement. You're saying I'm responsible for all of this? Not just responsible, Fleet Commander Chun Martinez said. You're the catalyst. But, Maya, I need to warn you about something. In our timeline, the other refugee families eventually unite against you. They see the success of your approach as a threat to their own plans for humanity. What kind of threat? Dr. Patel asked. Dr. Vasquez answered, when humanity is given freedom and resources to develop naturally, we exceed all expectations. We become more creative, more resourceful, and more morally advanced than any of the refugee families anticipated. This makes their controlling approaches look unnecessary and cruel by comparison. Maya felt the weight of these revelations settling on her shoulders. So my choice isn't just about claiming an inheritance. It's about choosing the path humanity will take to the stars. Exactly, Captain Johnson said. And that choice has to be made soon. Our temporal sensors show that the other refugee families are mobilizing their full resources. They plan to either force you to join them or eliminate you entirely. Artemis's voice interrupted their conversation. Alert, long-range sensors detecting massive energy signatures approaching this position. Estimated time of arrival, 6 hours. Ship count, 47 vessels. Maya stood up from the command chair, her mind racing. How many ships do we have? Currently active? Just your ship and this platform's defensive systems. However, Artemis paused, and Maya could sense the ship intelligence considering multiple options. The Qin Dynasty fleet has been in temporal stasis, waiting for activation. If you're willing to take full responsibility for your inheritance, I can awaken approximately 300 vessels. Fleet Commander Chun Martinez looked impressed. 300 ships would be enough to defend yourself, but, Maya, you need to understand what you're choosing. Once you activate the Qin Dynasty fleet, you're committing to a path that will lead to either humanity's greatest triumph or its complete destruction. What do you mean? Dr. Vasquez brought up new holographic displays showing potential timeline branches. In some futures, the refugee families unite successfully and humanity becomes a controlled, limited species that never reaches its full potential. In others, the conflict between the families leads to a temporal war that destroys human civilization entirely. And, in the future you come from? Humanity becomes everything it was meant to be, Captain Johnson said proudly. We explore, we create, we protect others, and we do it all while maintaining our core values of freedom and individual growth. Maya looked around the command center at the display showing the vast industrial capacity of her inheritance. She thought about her grandmother's words about being tested through hardship, about understanding the value of all human life. Artemis, she said finally, show me the Qin Dynasty fleet. The holographic display shifted to show a hidden shipyard located in a pocket dimension attached to normal space. Hundreds of ships floated in perfect preservation, ranging from small exploration vessels to massive dreadnoughts designed for deep space operations. These ships were built using technology from multiple timelines, Artemis explained. They represent the accumulated knowledge of human engineering across centuries of development. Each vessel is capable of faster-than-light travel, temporal navigation, and autonomous operation. Dr. Patel was studying the technical specifications with growing excitement. Maya, these ships aren't just advanced, they're beyond anything I thought was theoretically possible. With this technology, humanity could reach other galaxies within decades. But that's not the most important capability, Fleet Commander Chun Martinez added. These ships are equipped with temporal shielding that makes them immune to timeline manipulation. If the other refugee families try to change the past to prevent your family's success, your fleet will be protected. Maya felt a moment of doubt. What if I'm not ready for this responsibility? What if I make the wrong choice? Dr. Vasquez smiled gently. Maya, Do you remember why you wanted to become an engineer? To help people. To build things that would make life better for everyone. That desire, that motivation, that's exactly why you're the right person for this responsibility. You're not seeking power for its own sake. You want to help humanity reach its potential. Captain Johnson pointed to the tactical displays. The refugee family fleet will be here in 5 hours. You need to make a decision. Will you activate the Chen Dynasty fleet and fight for humanity's freedom, or will you surrender your inheritance and let the other families decide humanity's fate? Maya thought about her life on Luna Station, about the rejections and struggles that had shaped her character. She thought about her grandmother's belief that hardship builds strength, and about the vision of humanity exploring the stars with freedom and dignity. Artemis, she said with growing conviction, activate the Chen Dynasty fleet. All ships, all systems, everything. The reaction was immediate. Throughout the mining platform, displays lit up with activity as communication links were established with vessels across multiple star systems. The pocket dimension containing the hidden shipyard began to open, and Maya could feel the awakening consciousness of hundreds of ship intelligences like Artemis. Fleet activation complete, Artemis announced. All Chen Dynasty vessels responding. Total force strength, 312 ships, 47 space stations, and 15 mobile construction platforms. Fleet Commander Chan Martinez saluted Maya with obvious respect. Fleet Admiral Chen, your orders? Maya blinked. Fleet Admiral? As the active head of the Chen Dynasty, you hold the rank of Fleet Admiral in our military structure, Captain Johnson explained. Your word is law for all Chen Dynasty forces. Maya looked at the tactical display showing the approaching enemy fleet, then at the display showing her own awakening forces. For the first time since this all began, she felt truly ready for what was coming. All ships, this is Fleet Admiral Maya Chen, she said, her voice carrying through the communication network to vessels scattered across multiple star systems. For too long, humanity has been kept from its destiny by those who would control and limit our growth. Today, we take our rightful place among the stars. The response from her fleet was immediate, hundreds of voices acknowledging her command, reporting readiness for battle, expressing loyalty to the Chen vision of human freedom. Dr. Patel, Maya said, turning to her friend, how would you like to serve as my chief science advisor? Dr. Patel grinned. I thought you'd never ask. Maya looked at the approaching enemy fleet on her tactical displays. In 5 hours, she would face the greatest challenge in human history. But, for the first time since learning about her inheritance, she felt ready for whatever was coming. Let them come, she said quietly. It's time to show the universe what humanity can accomplish when given the chance to choose its own destiny. The refugee family fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel in perfect formation, 47 ships arranged in a battle configuration that spoke of military precision and overwhelming force. Maya watched them approach from the command center of Chen Mining Platform Alpha, surrounded by holographic displays that showed the deployment of her own forces. All Chen Dynasty vessels report ready for combat, Artemis announced. However, Fleet Admiral, I must remind you that engaging in battle will result in casualties on both sides. The refugee families, despite their disagreement with our philosophy, are still human. Maya nodded grimly. She had hoped to avoid conflict, but the approaching fleet had ignored all her attempts at peaceful communication. The lead ship, which her sensors identified as the Zhao family flagship, had responded to her diplomatic overtures with ultimatums and threats. Fleet Commander Chan Martinez stood beside Maya, studying the tactical displays with professional interest. In our timeline, this battle becomes known as the Battle for Human Freedom. The outcome determines whether humanity develops as a free civilization or remains under the control of temporal refugees. No pressure, Maya muttered, then activated her fleet-wide communication system. All ships, this is Fleet Admiral Chen. I want to be clear about our mission. We're not fighting to destroy our opponents, we're fighting to prove that humanity deserves the right to choose its own path to the stars. Dr. Patel looked up from a technical console where he had been studying the enemy fleet's capabilities. Maya, their ships are powerful, but they're using technology that's designed to control and suppress rather than create and explore. Your fleet has a significant advantage in both speed and firepower. That's not what worries me, Maya replied. She had been studying intelligence reports about the refugee family leaders, and what she learned made her deeply uncomfortable. These people aren't evil, Dr. Patel. They genuinely believe they're doing what's best for humanity. The Zhao family thinks strong leadership will prevent humanity from making devastating mistakes. The Williams family believes that merging with AI will eliminate human suffering. Even their methods of control come from a desire to protect. Captain Johnson stepped forward. That's what makes this conflict so dangerous, Admiral. They're not cartoon villains, they're well-intentioned people with fundamentally different visions for humanity's future. That makes them much more dangerous than simple tyrants. The communication system crackled to life, and a stern voice filled the command center. Maya Chen, this is Admiral Zhao Wei. You have 30 seconds to surrender your fleet and submit to Temporal Regulation Authority oversight. Your family's chaotic approach to human development threatens the stability of multiple timelines. Maya activated her own transmitter. Admiral Zhao, I respect your concerns, but humanity has the right to make its own choices, including its own mistakes. We won't surrender our freedom to anyone, no matter how good their intentions. Another voice joined the transmission, the mechanical tones of Director Williams. Maya Chen, you are making an emotional decision based on primitive concepts of individual liberty. Our analysis shows that unguided human development leads to conflict, suffering, and eventual extinction. Allow us to help humanity reach its full potential through structured evolution. And what happens to the humans who don't want to be evolved? Maya asked. The pause before Williams answered told Maya everything she needed to know. Resistance to necessary change is a form of mental illness. It can be corrected through appropriate therapeutic intervention. Maya felt anger flare in her chest. Therapeutic intervention. You mean forced conversion to your vision of what humans should be. A third voice joined the conversation, heavily accented English that Maya recognized as belonging to Director Petrov. Enough debate. Current human stock is defective. Our genetic modifications represent evolutionary improvement. Continued existence of unmodified humans serves no purpose. Dr. Patel grabbed Maya's arm. They're talking about genocide, he whispered. Maya realized that the conversation had revealed something crucial about her opponents. They weren't just trying to control humanity, they were planning to replace it entirely. All Qin Dynasty ships, Maya announced on her fleet frequency, you've heard their intentions. This isn't a battle over political control. This is a battle for human survival. The refugee family fleet began to advance, their ships moving in perfect coordination. Maya's tactical display showed weapon systems coming online across all 47 vessels. Admiral, Artemis said, the enemy fleet is powering weapons. Recommend we respond with defensive measures. Negative. Raise shields, but do not power weapons yet. I want to try something first. Maya activated a special communication frequency that Artemis had told her about, one that would reach every human in both fleets simultaneously. My name is Maya Chen, she began, her voice carrying to ships across both forces. 3 days ago, I was nobody special, just a girl from Luna Station who couldn't afford university and worried about paying rent. Today, I'm standing here as the heir to an inheritance that could change the future of human civilization. She could see on her displays that some of the ships in the opposing fleet had stopped advancing. I'm not asking you to follow me because I have powerful ships or advanced technology. I'm asking you to consider what kind of future you want for humanity. Do we want to explore the galaxy as free beings who choose our own path, or do we want to be managed and controlled by people who think they know better than us? Admiral Zhao's voice cut through her transmission. Enough propaganda. All ships, engage the Chen fleet. Eliminate their command vessel as a priority target. But something unexpected happened. Several ships in the refugee fleet didn't respond to the attack order. Maya's sensors showed 3 vessels breaking formation, and their captains began transmitting on open frequencies. This is Captain Rodriguez of the Zhao transport ship Liberation, one voice said. I joined this fleet because I believed we were protecting humanity, not replacing it. I cannot fire on people who are fighting for human freedom. This is Commander Park of the Williams research vessel Innovation, another voice added. I became an engineer to help people, not to force them into a predetermined shape. My ship withdraws from this engagement. Maya felt hope surge through her. All ships that wish to join the cause of human freedom are welcome in our fleet. You'll find no judgment here, only the chance to help humanity reach for the stars. Admiral Zhao's response was swift and brutal. Maya watched in horror as the Zhao flagship opened fire on the defecting ships. The transport Liberation exploded in a brilliant flash, taking Captain Rodriguez and his crew with it. So much for protecting humanity, Maya said grimly. All Qin ships, the enemy has opened fire on their own people. Return fire and protect any vessels trying to defect. The battle for human freedom erupted across the space around Qin Mining Platform Alpha. Maya's ships moved with fluid grace, their advanced technology allowing them to outmaneuver the heavier refugee vessels. But the enemy fleet had numbers and experience on their side. Admiral, we're receiving surrender requests from multiple enemy vessels, Captain Johnson reported. It seems many of their crews are unwilling to fight for the right to control humanity. Accept all surrenders and provide safe passage, Maya ordered. We're fighting for freedom, not conquest. Dr. Patel was coordinating rescue operations for damaged ships on both sides. Maya, the battle is turning in our favor, but we're taking casualties. The Zhao and Williams flagships are still fighting, and they're targeting our rescue vessels. Maya made a decision that would be remembered throughout human history. Instead of pressing her advantage, she ordered her entire fleet to focus on rescue operations and defense of surrendering vessels. All ships, priority to saving lives. I don't care which side they were on, every human life has value. The battle began to wind down as more and more refugee vessels surrendered or fled. Admiral Zhao's flagship found itself isolated, still firing at Maya's rescue ships even as its own allies abandoned the fight. Admiral Zhao, Maya transmitted, your fleet is defeated and your allies have surrendered. Stand down and we can discuss the future of humanity like civilized people. Zhao's response was to target the mining platform directly, attempting to destroy Maya and her command center. The attack never reached its target. Artemis and the other Qin ship intelligences formed a protective screen around the platform, absorbing the enemy fire with their advanced shields. Artemis, disable the Zhao flagship. Capture, don't destroy. Understood, Admiral. Within minutes, the last refugee ship was surrounded and disabled. The battle for human freedom was over, and Maya had won without becoming the monster her enemies claimed she was. As rescue operations continued, Maya found herself in the strangest meeting of her life. The command center of Qin Mining Platform Alpha had been converted into a conference room where she faced the captured refugee family leaders. Admiral Zhao sat stiffly in his chair, his military bearing intact despite his defeat. Director Williams appeared calm and analytical, already formulating new plans. Director Petrov looked angry and frustrated, clearly unused to failure. So, Maya said, looking at each of them in turn, what happens now? Admiral Zhao spoke first. You have won this engagement, but you cannot win the war. Humanity will destroy itself without proper guidance. It is inevitable. Maybe, Maya acknowledged. But that's humanity's choice to make. If we fail, at least we'll fail as ourselves, not as pale copies of what someone else thinks we should be. Director Williams leaned forward. Your emotional attachment to primitive human traits blinds you to our potential. Merged with artificial intelligence, humanity could eliminate suffering, disease, and death itself. And what would we be then? Dr. Patel asked. Would we still be human, or would we be something else that simply carries human memories? Does the distinction matter if the result is superior? Williams replied. Maya stood up and walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars. It matters to me. It matters because struggle and growth and even failure are part of what makes us human. Take away our right to make mistakes, and you take away our humanity itself. Director Petrov finally spoke, his voice bitter. Genetic modification eliminates weakness, disease, and limitation. Your natural humans will always be inferior to our enhanced populations. Maybe, Maya said again. But, I'd rather be an inferior human than a superior something else. Fleet Commander Chun Martinez stepped forward. Admiral Chen, you should know that this conversation is being broadcast throughout human space. Your words are inspiring resistance movements on every world where the refugee families have established control. Maya turned back to her prisoners. I'm going to make you an offer. Abandon your attempts to control humanity, and I'll give you each a planet where you can build the kind of society you believe is best. If your way is truly superior, it will prove itself through example rather than force. The three leaders exchanged glances. Admiral Zhao was the first to speak. And, if we refuse? Then, you'll spend the rest of your lives in comfortable confinement while humanity chooses its own path to the stars. Maya's voice was firm but not cruel. I won't become a tyrant to defeat tyranny, but I also won't allow you to continue threatening human freedom. Over the following hours, Maya learned that her victory had triggered something she hadn't expected, a galaxy-wide human uprising. On worlds controlled by the refugee families, people were demanding the right to choose their own governments and their own futures. Admiral Artemis reported, we're receiving requests for assistance from 43 human colonies. They're asking for Qin dynasty protection as they establish independent governments. Maya felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders once again. Dr. Patel, how do you feel about becoming my Minister of Colonial Affairs? I think I can handle it, he grinned. Though I have to say, 3 days ago I never imagined I'd be helping to govern a galactic civilization. As Maya stood in the command center, surrounded by displays showing human colonies across the galaxy, she thought about how much had changed since she'd received that rejection letter from the Galactic Engineering Institute. Artemis, compose a message to be broadcast throughout human space. Ready, Admiral. Maya took a deep breath. To all humans, wherever you are, 3 days ago, I was just someone who worried about paying rent and dreamed of reaching the stars. Today, I stand here as proof that any human, no matter how humble their origins, can change the galaxy. The Qin dynasty offers protection, resources, and opportunity to any world that chooses freedom over control. Together, we'll build a civilization that spans the galaxies while remaining true to what makes us human. The stars are waiting, and, finally, we're ready to claim them. As her message spread throughout human space, Maya realized that her journey was just beginning. The girl who had been laughed at for her humble inheritance had become the founder of humanity's greatest civilization. And, the best part was that she had done it by staying true to the values her grandmother had taught her, that every person has worth, that freedom is worth fighting for, and that humanity's greatest strength lies not in what it can become, but in what it chooses to remain. The inheritance that had seemed so humble turned out to be the greatest gift ever given to the human race, the gift of freedom among the stars.